A controversial Middle Tennessee sheriff whose county has already paid $350,000 for the beating of an unarmed man is now in another nasty legal battle. Humphreys County Sheriff Chris Davis is suing public defender Jake Lockhart, and the depositions from that case are so scandalous that his own lawyer is trying to seal them. The Channel 4's I-Team's Dennis Ferrier is here now with the story. Dennis.
Well, Tom, that effort has been unsuccessful. Here's that video deposition, which forced the sheriff to discuss openly what he has never discussed before. It wasn't long after Sheriff Chris Davis's deposition that his lawyer realized this deposition was trouble. Attorney Philip Davidson wants a protective order to seal this videotape from the public. He says it's scandalous and scurrilous and could cause embarrassment and annoyance to the sheriff. But no judge has signed the order, so you now get to see the videotape. Remember, a woman came forward claiming she had a multi-year affair with Sheriff Davis. That included all kinds of public sex in the sheriff's car, his office, and the courtroom while he was on duty.
Did you ever have sexual relationships with her at your office? Under oath, I'd ask you that question.
I'm trying to remember. I don't remember, Mr. Griffin.
Okay.
The voice asking those questions is this man, Attorney John Griffith, who is defending Jake Lockhart. But this answer, he believes, speaks for itself.
Ask yourself the question, would you forget a place that you had sex like a courthouse? I don't think that I would.
John Griffith says he is an old friend of the sheriff, and he has begged the sheriff to drop the lawsuit.
We went to high school together, we played football together, and there have been two separate occasions where I have asked him and begged him to drop this lawsuit that he's filed against Jake Lockhart. Because I told him, I said, you're putting your personal reputation at issue. So therefore, I'm going to have to ask you questions about your personal and professional reputation. And I don't want to do that, and it's going to get bloody. And last Friday, it did.
Then there is the question about two four-wheelers confiscated by the Humphreys County Sheriff's Department that somehow, occasionally, would be stored at the sheriff's home in McEwen.
Do you ever let your children ride those four-wheelers?
Yeah, my son's rode it before.
Okay. Yeah. Are there any ethical rules that govern the private use, personal use of confiscated items such as four-wheelers?
Are you saying is it unethical to let my son ride a four-wheeler?
No, sir, that's not the question I asked, but you can answer that question if you want to.
Ask your question again, Mr. Griffin.
The question was, are there any ethical rules that govern the use of confiscated items such as four-wheelers by public employees such as yourself that you're aware of?
I'm not aware of any said rule or law on that. I mean, are you asking if my children have rode my four-wheeler? I answered that. Yes, my children have rode that four-wheeler that I have before.
You said my four-wheeler. Is it your four-wheeler?
No, the department.
Okay.
Sheriff Davis is suing public defender Jake Lockhart for defamation.
His lies, his constant lies. It's betrayed me as, in his words, a jackboot thug.
But probably the most explosive allegation that came out of the deposition, one of Davis's investigators, Deputy Ronnie Tonguette, says he found stolen property on one of Sheriff Davis's friend's property, and that the sheriff told him not to confiscate the stolen property, to let Davis's friend turn it in. Under oath, Deputy Tonguette says the stolen property was never returned.
This was just not standard procedure that you ask the people who have stolen property to bring it in to the sheriff's office. I mean, you don't leave stolen property in the hands of the person who either they or their family might be involved in stealing it.
Now, Sheriff Davis says he did not interfere, but you put these two depositions next to each other. These are two very different stories. And keep in mind, Deputy Tonguette still works for Sheriff Davis. He is vulnerable, but this is his sworn testimony that Sheriff Davis said, leave the stolen property there. Tom.
Channel 4's Dennis Ferrier tonight.